So that takes us to Indiana, which I think everyone agrees right now has gone from, a team that made the playoffs last year, lost in the first round. They were building all these young pieces, of course, Caitlin Clark, to now an immediate contender with all the moves that they've made.
You assumed Sue Bird would sugarcoat it, but she didn't. After glancing at the Indiana Fever's title hoopla, she said, "Let's pump the brakes, people." Don't get it wrong, she wasn't discounting them. Rather, she was correcting the record. Yes, Angel Reese, we're staring at you. Caitlin Clark is undoubtedly talented, but rings isn't one on Twitter or when dancing on TikTok.
I think Natasha Howard certainly stands out. I loved playing with Tosh.
But you cannot say enough about
Tosh. I really enjoyed playing with her. I think she really is she's just this glue player that doesn't get enough shine for what she does, because a lot of what she does doesn't show up in the box score, but she just is always in the right place at the right time. And a player like that, I think, complements what Indiana is building.
However, this is where things get spicy. Sue didn't hold back and didn't use generic medication since she thought the temperature may be manageable. Instead, she delved deeply into Sue Bird, the walking, talking basketball encyclopedia. The lady who has won more titles than Angel Reese has declared outright this season that the Indiana Fever are serious contenders for the crown.
They obviously, through trade, added Sophie Cunningham, a player that, I would say a 3-and-D type player who has, been to the finals, so has that playoff experience. She's also just tough. She's mentally tough. She's physically tough. She brings an edge to them. And then last but not least, they added Dewana Bonner, which really I think is the one that, for most people, took it to another level. So now you're oh, they're a contender.
Let that marinate for a moment. Bird. This isn't just any retired player using clout. She's a 4-time NBA champion, 5-time Olympic gold medalist, and one of the smartest basketball minds to ever set foot on the court. She's played against legends who have led dynasties and understand exactly what it takes to win at the greatest level. When Sue speaks, it's not for clicks. Rather, it's because she sees something that everyone else is missing.
So Sue Bird is one of the greatest point guards of all time in the WNBA. And she's someone who obviously is a part owner in the Seattle Storm. So hyping up another team is a bit of a conflict of interest, if we're being honest.
And here's the thing, she's not just talking about Caitlin Clark. Sure, Clark is a generational talent who comes up from the parking lot like it's nothing, breaking records like it's her side hustle. But if you think Sue is excited just because of Caitlin, you obviously don't understand how her basketball brain works. Sue sees the bigger picture, a team that has been working hard even before Clark signed that rookie contract. Imagine those seasons when there weren't many crowds at all, but since Clark's arrival, that spark has grown into a wildfire.
To you about the experience, the champions that have been added to this one.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area. So just adding pieces of, players that have been in this league, they know what it takes to win. They know what it takes to get to the finals. They know what it takes to win championships. I think it's exactly what we needed in our locker room. So it's just exciting, but also they're not only really good basketball players, they're really great leaders and really great people. And I know the front office obviously really prioritized that and looking for the pieces that we wanted to add. So really thankful for that as well.
Sue Bird doesn't flaunt her title as if it were confetti. She is a woman whose entire career has been based on astute choices made both on and off the court. If she is letting the world know that the Indiana Fever have something unique, she isn't probably warning you.
The biggest part of DB joining this team is that she's already played for Steph. So I think that's going to help bridge the gap, because as we go along, we're going to talk about Vegas and Seattle, Atlanta. It's really going to be which
Stephanie
team.
White being the head coach of,
Thank you.
Was the head coach of Connecticut, now the head coach of Indiana.
Yeah. So it's really going to be the team that finds their chemistry. This season is short. I mean, they're adding games, but it's still pretty short season.
Still short.
And it's going to be the team that finds chemistry. So having Stephanie White there, having already coached DB, really does help.
Now, let's talk about Cheryl Swoops because, wow, that hot take she made about real talent never choosing Indiana is aging like milk left out in the sun. In fact, it's beginning to resemble one of those cold takes that wind up on compilation reels with dramatic violin music playing in the background. You know the kind of thing where it says, "This didn't age well," because, as the thesis states, players are choosing Indiana not reluctantly but as a last resort because they want to be there, which is why it's about Caitlin Clark.
Chelsea Mitchell's balling, Caitlin continuing to impress, and she's going to break records nonstop for the next couple years. Yeah. It's just going to be a constant record break.
Yes, you did hear me. The reason why Indiana Fever jerseys are flying off the shelves and ticket sales are so high is because she is the main attraction at the box office. Indiana is no longer a forgotten struggling team. This isn't the WNBA equivalent of a pee party. They're creating something genuine, and when someone like Sue Bird says, "Hey, this team is about to be a serious problem," you can be sure that players throughout the league are paying attention, because Sue isn't just on TV giving out praise in the form of participation trophies. She speaks because she sees something, and what she sees in Indiana isn't just potential. It's a team that is actively seeking success rather than passively waiting for it to appear.
Indiana Fever team.
They getting paid anyway?
That are like, no, but players who will be free agents next year. There's a lot of other going on that players are like, this ain't where I want to be.
Examine the movements. They've been assembling actual parts that make basketball sense. So this isn't some Cinderella tale where they're hoping Caitlin Clark will be their fairy godmother and miraculously solve everything with a three-pointer. Let's take a moment to discuss free agency, because this is where things get interesting. Every contract, trade, and draft selection has been a part of a strategy or blueprint intended to allow Caitlin Clark to express her talent without bearing the weight of the entire franchise. Indiana is now more than just a place for athletes to get some minutes and boost their stats. It's a destination where you can truly earn a spot on national television, perform in front of crowded arenas with a fan base that is expanding faster than Angel Reese's list of justifications, and, most importantly, play with a young core that is only getting better.
And yeah, there's a narrative out there that Kathy made the call. All right, Kathy Engelbert. Oh, we got to make sure we get Caitlin Clark the championship. And I told you there's narrative floating. Number one, they're freaking out. Number two, the next thing you're about to hear is Caitlin Clark needs a super team to win a championship. So they're going to downgrade her status, and they're going to shit on her over that. It's already started. That's where they're going with this.
Sue Bird has been vocal about it because she understands what's coming and the funniest part of it. Many resisted seeing it until it struck them squarely in the face. Indiana evolved from being a WNBA irrelevance to becoming one of the league's most talked about teams for real basketball-related reasons, not just for attention-grabbing headlines or social media buzz. When Sub Bird looks at the trajectory, she sees a team that is working hard to succeed rather than just wanting to be great. For anyone who is still skeptical and holding on to the antiquated notion that Indiana isn't a destination, it's time to change that narrative.
Something about the way she plays the game, her passing, her shooting, that people really identify with. I really feel like we're poised and we're set up for a great, successful next era of Fever basketball.
However, this is where things become even more intriguing. SU Bird examines more than just the roster. She also looks at the foundation, the blueprint, the system being developed behind the scenes, and one thing she notices that many others miss. Stephanie White.
Sydney Colson is joining the Indiana Fever. What does that mean? Indiana is just being so greedy right now. They took DB, they took Natasha. Now they got Sydney Colson. Like, why would they take Sydney?
Yes, Stephanie White isn't just any coach. They chose her from the list of available applicants. This isn't a case of, let's see if it works. Stephanie White is the ideal coach at this time because she has experience managing talent, expectations, and most importantly, winning. And, let's not forget, she has already coached Danana Boner, so there is chemistry between them. She knows exactly how to bring out the best in Boner, how to fit her into a system, and how to make sure she enhances the skills Indiana already possesses. Stephanie White just executed a masterstroke.
The future is so bright, and our ultimate goal is to hang another banner in the field house. And our ultimate goal is to come back in here after we win that championship and celebrate again like we did in 2012.
Since this isn't just a veteran signing to raise morale, let's take a moment to discuss Boner. Boner is a walking mismatch issue. A bucket and a defensive stopper combine to create one of the greatest WNBA players ever. She is versatile, experienced, and still makes the defenders wake up in cold sweats when she joins this team. Her coach knows how to unleash her potential, and when combined with Caitlin Clark's gravitation on the court, the Indiana Fever aren't just in the title conversation anymore. They're looking to dominate it. The Indiana Fever's title chase isn't just a fantasy anymore. It's becoming a reality.
What does Bonner's addition now mean for the Fever's title potential?
I think the Indiana Fever, with the addition of DeWanna Bonner after already adding Natasha Howard and Sophie Cunningham, are now in the championship conversation, along with the New York Liberty, the Minnesota Lynx, and the Las Vegas Aces.
Indiana already has the plan. They're not only assembling talent, they're building a squad with a purpose, chemistry, and a will to win, while the rest of the league fumbles to figure out rotations. Sue Bird sees not just potential but a well-oiled machine in the making in Caitlin Clark, who is not just a rookie entering a professional league. She is the catalyst turning Indiana from an underdog to a legitimate powerhouse. Let's take a closer look at this because some people still don't understand. Caitlin Clark is bringing more than just her exceptional scoring skills to Indiana. She is a player who thrives under pressure. She has faced boisterous arenas and can still score 40 points like it's a friendly shootout. She is a leader not only in points but also in presence. When Clark takes the court, her teammates sense her confidence, the supporters feed off it, and the opponents sense the pressure.
The Fever, if you haven't been paying attention, they are really active in ensuring that Caitlin Clark and company have a true contending lineup next season. They have Caitlin Clark, they have Aaliyah Boston, they made sure that they re-signed Kelsey Mitchell. That was a big one. They acquired both Natasha Howard and DeWanna Bonner. They traded for Sophie Cunningham. They still have Lexi Hull. And now they have made a move that is literally my favorite of WNBA free agency. They have signed Sydney Colson, face of the WNBA. If you know, you know.
Because this is about how Clark uplifts everyone around her, not simply about how well she can score from the logo. Aaliyah Boston, a formidable force in the paint industry, now has a guard who can entice opponents away, giving her more room to rule from the inside out. Two defenses find it to be a nightmare. With the gravity Clark is creating, Kelsey Mitchell and Lexi Hull can cut to the basket with ease. You can't double one of them without leaving the other open. Add seasoned savvy from DeWanna Bonner. With Sophie Cunningham's sharp shooting and Natasha Howard's defensive tenacity, you have a team that can outplay you in every manner conceivable. Guard. Clark will come right up to you, blast by you, double or trap her, and use her elite court passing and vision to tear you apart.
Sophie Cunningham she is there to be basically the enforcer. She played a lot of 5 at Phoenix. She literally played 1 through 5. She guarded 1 through 5 at Phoenix. There is maybe a not more versatile glue player in the WNBA than Sophie Cunningham. There are better players, there are more versatile players, but no more versatile glue players in 100k a year than Cunningham. She's almost a one of a kind in what she does.
However, what truly distinguishes Indiana is their culture change. This isn't the same squad that was searching for their identity a few years ago. Instead, they are resilient and know exactly who they are. They've taken on the target because, with a player like Caitlin Clark, every game feels like a championship game, with every team trying to beat you and every spectator hoping to see you lose. That's the exact type of pressure Clark thrives under. They're tenacious and unapologetically hungry for victories.